Even if you are not an endurance athlete, there's still plenty of reasons you might want the $800 Apple Watch Ultra. It has a bigger battery, more durable titanium casing, and a screen that's twice as bright as the Apple Watch Series 8. Like the iPhone 14 Pro, Apple has reserved some key features for the Ultra that set it apart from the rest of the Apple Watch range. There's a dual frequency GPS for more accurate tracking, extra microphones for improved voice calls, and a customizable action button to quickly start activities or transition from one leg of a triathlon to another. For the first time on an Apple Watch, LTE connectivity is included by default. That immediately sets it apart from many other sports and fitness watches that don't have any cellular option. The Ultra only comes in 149mm case size, which might be too big for some to wear comfortably. Then there's the hefty price, which is $400 more than the 41mm GPS Apple Watch Series 8, and could have you wondering whether the Ultra really is worth that much more. Even if you don't consider yourself an adventurer, there might be enough here to justify the cost, especially if you want a more durable watch with increased water resistance and battery life that's at least twice as long as other Apple Watch models. Considering the $749 45mm Apple Watch Series 8 in stainless steel costs almost as much, I think the Ultra is a better overall value given that you get additional hardware features like the action button, an emergency siren, and extra microphones to boost call quality. It's also priced competitively with other sports watches that have a similar titanium construction and OLED screens like the $1,000 Garmin Epix 2. The Apple Watch Ultra's battery doesn't last as long, and it doesn't have anywhere near as many navigation features as the Epix 2, but it's easier to use. Has heart features like an electrocardiogram app, cellular connectivity, and seamless integration with the iPhone. If you are someone who wants a true hybrid smartwatch and a sports watch, the Ultra is the one to beat. The Ultra is a souped-up Apple Watch in every respect. All the familiar elements are here, just bigger and bolder than previous models. The side button has its own housing that protrudes from the case, and the digital crown has deeper ridges, making both easier to control if your fingers are sweaty, dusty, or wearing gloves. When taking the Ultra out of the box for the first time, I thought it was going to be too large and heavy for my wrist, but it's deceptively light to wear thanks to its titanium construction. Even with the smallest watch strap that best suits my wrist size, I am able to get a snug and comfortable fit during the day. This isn't a one-size-fits-all design, though the Apple Watch Ultra will likely overwhelm smaller wrists. I would have loved to see a smaller case option even at the expense of battery life. For example, I am a side sleeper who rests my hand under my pillow, so the Ultra isn't the most comfortable watch to wear for sleep tracking. I can feel every edge of the watch at night. The 49mm case makes this the biggest Apple Watch to date, though the active area on the display itself is only a hair bigger than the 45mm Series 8. So rather than a bigger screen, you are really choosing the Ultra over the Series 8 for the extra protection you get from the titanium casing's raised edges. The screen has also flat edges, which some might prefer over the slightly curved screen on Apple's other watches. The Apple Watch Ultra is also twice as bright as the Series 8 and is easy to see in a sunny day with a maximum 2000 nits. I have taken the Ultra on long hikes and outright bike ride and my everyday walks and runs. It's readable in all of these situations, especially when just glancing down to see states on the always-on display. The flat sapphire glass cover is more reflective than I'd like, but the edge protection around it will pay dividends in long-term durability. Coming from a 41mm Apple Watch Series 7, everything is easier to see from workout states on the always-on display to notifications. The font size is adjustable and can get big, which is great for readability. Similar to the 45mm Series 8, And it sounds simple, but I like how the Ultra has room on its screen for up to 6 lines or workout stats. I no longer have to scroll down to another page just to see a particular metric, which makes all the difference. Over the past week, I have gotten used to the size of the Ultra, though there are times when I missed the sleeker feel of the regular Apple Watch on my wrist. That's especially true for the Series 7 and Series 8 with their curved screens and contoured cases that make everyday wear more enjoyable. You can't miss the bright orange action button on the left of the Apple Watch Ultra. It sits flush with the case and has an identification that helps you feel it under your thumb. Next to the larger capacity battery, this is my favorite new hardware feature on the Ultra. It's going to be hard to go back to an Apple Watch series without one. You can customize the button from the settings menu to do things like add a waypoint, launch the stopwatch, open the flashlight app, or instantly start one of your regular workouts and skip the 3, 2, 1 countdown. On previous Apple Watches, I set a complication to launch the workout app, then select the workout type using the touchscreen. It's not only easier to do this with the Ultra section button, but it's far more customizable because the button also changes depending on context. If you are on an outdoor run and press the action button again, you can mark a segment. You can also pause a workout by pinching the side button and action button together. The same pinch combo resumes your workout, so there's no need to swipe to the right on the screen to stop and start. The button can also transition from one leg of the race to another if you are participating in a duathlon or triathlon. I wish that the other two buttons could be used for controlling and navigating the watch or locking the screen during a workout like you can some other sports watches. As with other Apple Watch models, you can only lock the Ultra's touchscreen if you are doing an underwater activity such as swimming or diving. I'd like to see Apple add some of these customization features into other Apple Watches so you could swap out the multitasking function of the side button to launch a workout instead. For example, other sports and outdoor watches have similar ways to customize buttons such as the hotkeys on Garmin watches, but Apple's implementation is arguably easier to use, and I hope to see even more customization options added in future software updates. You will also be able to use the action button to launch shortcuts, but I wasn't able to set that feature on the Ultra yet. At launch, the Apple Watch Ultra will come with a choice of 3 new watch bands: a textile alpine loop, an elastomer ocean band, and a nylon trail loop. The good news is you can use existing bands from 44mm and 45mm Apple Watches with the Ultra, or use any of the 3 new Ultra bands on the same sizes of Apple Watch. It won't be an exact fit, but it's still nice to have some backward compatibility. I really like the Ocean Band, which is designed for water sports and diving, as it's able to stretch over a wetsuit because it feels the most similar to a regular watch strap, but it's a little chunky for everyday use. During my testing, I mainly used the Alpine Loop, which is more suited for trail adventures. This has a titanium hook fasteners but can be a little fiddly to get on. It seems like it will take a few more weeks to completely break in the fabric. The trail loop with pull tab looks the most practical for everyday use because it's slightly elasticized. I can't wait for more options with more muted colors and designs that will work everywhere from the office to the trail. The Apple Watch Ultra comes with one exclusive watch face called Wayfinder. It has room for up to 8 complications, so you can heavily customize the look and feel of this face to whatever activity you choose. It also includes a compass that indicates the north point when you rotate your wrist, and you can also view elevation data. There is a night mode that turns all the elements red and is triggered by rotating the crown, but it's only available with Wayfinder watch face. I wish Apple had more than just one exclusive face for the Ultra, even though you could potentially tailor Wayfinder to have one for hiking, one for diving, and one for everyday use. For example, the Apple Watch Ultra also supports all the regular watch faces you are used to and new ones in watchOS 9, including Metropolitan and Astronomy. I feel there are two types of people who will be drawn to the Apple Watch Ultra, and the first is anyone who wants a bigger, tougher Apple Watch with a battery life that lasts twice as long as the other models. And if you are looking at a 45mm Series 8 in stainless steel, it's almost the same cost as the Ultra, in the US anyway, so I think the Ultra is the better overall choice. Anyone who considers themselves an endurance athlete or outdoors adventurer is obviously the other huge market. Apple's done a great job of having a little bit everything, whether you are a triathlete, marathon runner, or diver. However, we'll have to wait a little longer until the Oceanic Plus app launches to determine if those dive features are actually helpful. The Ultra might not match the sports and mapping features on a high-end Garmin, Coros, or Polar watch, but the tight integration with iPhone might be worth more to you. Mobile payments, a wide selection of third-party apps, speaker, microphone, and LTE connectivity all make the Ultra capable of doubling as an everyday watch and adventure companion, unless you need a battery that lasts a week or more.